Excellent. So yeah, and I managed to stop the recording rather than pausing it then. So so this will be in 3 parts, conveniently. But yeah, the so yeah, you I think we'll screen ahead to the the authorities will have arrived. The sheriff Dalrymple will be there again, as well as the local doctor, who will be attending to checking over over Jorge. The doctor's name is Dr. Stern, himself as well, a man probably in his maybe even approaching 70 at the moment, but he's sort of seeing to sort of, he's got the shining the light in the eyes and all this, just going over the diagnostics as alongside a paramedic, but it's a small town, so he's just come out as well. But yeah, I think the sheriff will be taking notes. So you say you found this man just sitting over there in the cupboard, is that right?
That's where he was.
He was. He looks a lot like Mr. Thompson's husband, who was over in room 1, and who doesn't seem to have come home last night. Let me show you.
If you would, certainly, sir. And he'll follow you over to the other room.
I'll open up the door for you. At least the bed hasn't been slept in. We didn't hear him come in. And his bags all seem still to be here. You said he came to the police office to talk to you.
He had some questions for us. I think he was going to go around town. I heard he'd been, he was going to have a look around, get a lay of the land, and that maybe he, I don't know, stopped out, ended up, it kind of shrugs somewhere else. I don't know where. But given what's apparently happened to his husband here, I guess I could. It's maybe there's something more serious going on.
No, it's very suspicious. This was Mr. Sandeep's room, or at least the room he chose to occupy. And I described Sandeep to him, and he's also vanished. Or
if he was even
not here. He was here yesterday, and he's not here today.
I see. There's awful lot of people going missing around here.
Well, they probably have something to do with one another, but that's your job.
It is indeed. I'll have to have a thorough investigation of all this. And he'll kind of close his notebook and say, "Well, at least we've found one of them by the looks of it. That's at least one I can strike off the book. It's just be a lot more convenient if I didn't have another 2 to add."
Yeah, and if the circumstances of his arrival didn't ask as many questions as his disappearance did.
Perhaps the others aren't far behind him.
There's nobody else in that closet. I looked.
Well, have we checked the other ones?
No, we haven't checked the other closets, Roland. People don't just appear in closets.
Well, one did.
There were footprints. You said so.
Into the bathroom.
Yes, well, that just means there could have been other footprints that we didn't see.
Yes, dear.
Go ahead and check the closets if you want to, Raleigh, for goodness sake. You know you're not going to be happy until you do.
I'll grumble and go do just that.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, if you're kind of doing another, just to sort of search around the closets and that in the other rooms. Yeah, I think again, if you'd like to make a medal roll.
Number 3. I'm holding the 4 in one hand, idly twiddling it with my fingers, and just trying to see if there's anything that Sandeep left behind that might have been a clue. It looks like he wasn't here at all.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So yeah, I'll get if you would like to make a medal move first, we'll go with you, Clarence, whilst you're just having another look around room 3.
The dice have become very consistent. That's a 5.
5, excellent. So yeah, the police, well, the sheriff and the doctor leave with Jorge. They don't leave anyone here because, certainly at the moment, this is technically like an anti-crime scene. They've found a missing person rather than lost someone. So they're not, devoting particular
danger.
Yeah. But so they will leave, and as you are looking around the room 3 again, you head into the bathroom, and it's that thing as you come in, the one of the taps is on, one of the taps in the sink, and I think as Clarence kind of probably almost unconsciously just goes to turn it off, as he turns his back, there is this, that sound of the shower curtain moving, and before Clarence can properly turn around, he feels a hand around his mouth, and a blade being drawn across his throat.
Yeah, I think I'm going to mask that one.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Let's see. Well, I haven't learned from experience. I'm going to mark they know something is up.
Excellent. So when they know something is up, when you mark this mask, describe what rumors a competitor yes. So I was just I'm just going to double check if it clarifies that. But yeah, I think we still go through what happens, but then it's just unmarked after the fact. So yeah, when describe what rumors a competitor is spreading about your B&B. What is the kernel of truth behind them? Your composure is reduced by 1, and you gain the condition paranoid.
A competitor is spreading the rumors that that's well, should it be something occult or not, do you think?
It could be, yeah. There might be occult rumors.
What more is interesting? It's basically they're spreading a rumor that there is a cult, that there is a secret cult in the woods, which lurks nearby and pounces on unwary victims for nefarious ends of some sort. and that explains the disturbances in the woods and the people disappearing and then reappearing with no memories because they've obviously been drugged, and things like that.
Excellent, excellent.
And now I'm going to try and explain that away. And let's see if the dice. Okay, the dice have given me a 10.
Perfect. Yep.
On the Dana Scully move, and I disentangle myself from the shower curtain, which gave me a very bad moment there. I stumbled. I must have slipped backwards, slipped on the bath mat as I was stepping on it and backed into the shower curtain, and it felt it was unnervingly like being grabbed. And I pat my neck to reassure myself that I don't have a cut throat. But I emitted a yelp during that process.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, actually, I think so the way I'm going to, it's not 100% clear. So I think that because that is not marked, I don't think the mechanical effect of that move will trigger. But I still like asking the question anyway because I think that's interesting. But so you don't change your composure or any of that. But so on you'll get a 7 to 9 therefore on your medal move. So I will you will discover as you're sort of giving an investigation in the bathroom, well in the room in general, but you will you'll find there is like not a damp patch in the sense of like rising damp or whatever else, but there is like it's like if you've had like water like leaking through the ceiling sort of thing, except it's like coming through one of the walls, one of the external walls essentially. But there's just this big wet spreading patch. There's probably like, there's not like water pouring down it, but there probably are actually like drops of water running down. It's not just like it's not just like wet to the touch. It's almost like there's water leaking through, but it's on an external wall and there shouldn't be any pipework or anything like that behind it.
Yeah, so I step out of room 3 looking a little pale.
Yeah, and I think Roland, if I think you'll probably be kind of going between rooms at this point as Clarence comes out.
I walk up and Clarence, is it your heart? Are you okay?
I gave myself a start there. I got tangled up in the shower curtain in the bathroom of room 3. Did you know there's a water leakage there? It's very strange. I don't recall that there's a pipe on that outside wall.
There shouldn't be. I haven't noticed anything.
Why is water damage come through? We had the roof checked just last fall, so it can't be that.
Perhaps Mr. Sandeep is a very wet ghost.
Stop it, Roland. That's he's been funny a good while ago.
I'm sorry. But, and he'll take the photo out of his rumpled shirt pocket and hold it out. I found this yesterday in the basement when the sheriff was looking around.
What you mean in the effects that the previous owners left?
Yes, he dropped a box and this tumbled out, as well as a watch that was allegedly reported missing. I'm unclear. I should ask the sheriff if there's any news.
So what of it? It looks like it's from, I don't know, about 8 years ago.
Look at that man there, and he'll kind of point at him with his thumb. Look familiar.
I don't see what you're getting at. He says Clarence unconvincingly.
That's Mr. Sandeep, or at least someone who looks very much like him.
Well, someone who looks very much like him then, because it can't be him. Because he'd be 100 years old if that were him, if not older.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Look, he's an awfully corporeal ghost.
I'm not sure you and I are the authorities on what ghosts are or aren't.
No one's an authority on what ghosts are or aren't, because there aren't any ghosts.
Just closets that missing men reappear in, and walls without pipes getting wet.
Saying it's a ghost is just to say, is another way of just saying that you have no idea what it is.
Well, I have no idea how it gets in.
Why would it have to be a ghost? Why couldn't it be, I don't know, a rift in space-time?
Ghost is much more succinct.
But that doesn't make it a better explanation. That doesn't make it an explanation at all.
Well, there's something strange about the man.
Well, what do you think is happening? Yes, there's just something strange about him. I think he's a criminal.
Well,
Certainly not going to put up with him showing his face around here again.
he disappears in the middle of the night. He appears without warning. He leaves no trace behind. That doesn't speak of criminality to me.
It's not that he, well, something left the footprints. He's not leaving no trace. He just didn't stay the night.
Or use the bed, or leave any luggage, not even a sock.
Well, maybe he didn't bring any luggage.
He didn't use the bathroom.
He wasn't here for very long.
Of course, Clarence.
Do you have a better explanation for the strange things that have been going on?
Only the one I've already put forth.
Well, that only explains one or two things, even if it was an explanation.
Perhaps he
Suppose
took
it goes.
Mr. Jorge wherever he goes. He did seem confused, like he wasn't sure where he was when he arrived back via closet.
Clearly something is the matter with him. But what?
Abduction by supernatural entities?
Why? Even if we're to allow for that possibility, why would they do that?
That's a very good question. Perhaps we should ask Mr. Sandeep next time he mysteriously appears in room 3.
Next time he mysteriously appears in room 3, I'm calling the police and kicking him out of the place.
We've tried that.
We haven't really. We just told him to get that he wasn't welcome and he didn't see him again.
Until he showed up again without a key, without signing in or walking past us.
Anyone could take a key from behind the desk. It's not exactly a top security operation here. Just people don't. because they have more blindness.
Perhaps we should get one of those video doorbells.
Oh, yes. That's what we need. We need more technology here. I'm sure I can find a catalog. Say, thumbing through my phone.
I'm sure you can too. Utterly convinced.
We get one that automatically informs the police if anyone shows up at the door when we're not here.
That might be a step too far, but
Oh, look, they have ones with biometric scanners.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that means that you can register fingerprints, you see, so we don't even have to have a code. We can just have the guests put their finger in the door lock. Now nobody can get in and you can't duplicate the keys.
That sounds like a good way to have our guests locked out of their rooms.
This is the 21st century.
So they keep telling me. We should perhaps check on the other guests, make sure they're still comfortable. See if they have any strange men showing up in their closets or bathrooms.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, so if you don't want to, you don't. So it sounds like you don't want to do the theorize.
Yeah, that's what I was going to check in. Is it sounds like we were getting close to it there, but if you wish to sort of like form and like as well, the sort of the discussion on this can be kind of semi out of character as well if you want. It doesn't have to be all sort of in character, but if you want to kind of at this point propose a theory, that's cool. But if you want to like poke around a bit more, that is also fine. Either works. We still have about 25 minutes left, so
we have 2 dice as it stands.
We have what? Sorry.
2 dice to roll.
yeah. Well, sorry, it's a +2. Sorry.
+2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a pretty good roll. If you can incorporate all of those things into one theory.
And as well, I certainly the way I run this is if you can address all of the clues, certainly anyway, which can be by just like if there's something you think, well, like obviously the discarded glove was a red herring, that's also
Sure.
What I've read the Brindlewood Bay book. What do the people of Brindlewood Bay know or suspect generalized occult activity in the town?
Some may do. There's certainly a disproportionately high number of murders in the town that is a little out of the ordinary, and there is that kind of but people aren't necessarily the existence of the cult, the midwives of the Fragrant Void is not common knowledge, except to people who are members of it. But the fact that it's got that kind of slightly creepy, seaside town air to it, and there's that kind of superstition and rumor is quite rampant, at least put it that way.
So going with if we were to lean toward supernatural cults, that wouldn't be too far out of the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, in terms of your theory, that can be absolutely as supernatural as you wish. That is absolutely fine. Yeah.
Well, do we want to poke around a bit, or?
I can only think of one thing that makes sense of all of this, and it doesn't make any sense. But at least if it were true, it would tie everything together. You remember that book that we had, that the previous owners had, that from when this place was built, and that described some of the things that happened.
Oh, the one with the blue cover.
Yeah, the journal.
Vaguely.
And well, I don't think Mr. Okay, well, Sandeep being a ghost wouldn't. Well, first off, he'd had some very non-ghost-like properties, like being able to open a door and such like that.
You've seen
And if you allow
poltergeist.
ghosts to have physical form, then why didn't he dent the bed? It's like, okay, well, ghosts have physical form except when they don't.
Well,
He seemed to put his hand on the doorknob, turn the doorknob, open the door, close the door. And he seemed very physical to me. He didn't look translucent. He didn't seem like a ghost at all. I would say that if you're going to invoke supernatural explanations, that Mr. Sandeep was quite real. He just doesn't belong now.
so
that's him in the photo. Then he's not from this time. And what's going on here is we have a room that, for whatever reason, is moving people back and forth in time. I mean, what Antonio was saying about the widow who rented room 3 and then her husband didn't return. Well, maybe he did return, but not when she was here.
that definitely sounds more plausible than a ghost.
Maybe she thought he was dead and gone. And she had shifted in time and not realized it. The same with some of the things that we found that guests have reported missing, that we've and tried to contact them with, and it sounds like they just vanished and then reappeared.
Falling through cracks in time.
And at the picture with Mr. Sandeep, your strange voices. It's a broadcast from an earlier age. Radio's not meant to pick it up. So it didn't come, so you couldn't make anything out.
And the wet footprints?
They used different bands. The radio bands have shifted considerably. The amplification of some of the older, especially AM radios, was not very good. So on modern equipment, they'd be swamped by by interference from everything else in the spectrum. That I thought I saw a figure last night out in the woods. I didn't see any footprints, but maybe he wasn't there last night. Same with the footprints in room 3. Somebody's walked across room 3 plenty of times. Why are the footprints there? And why were the footprints there now? Suddenly.
Why the patch of water?
Why the patch of water? Well, they've had a leaky roof in the past. We know that. I have the repair records.
It didn't rain last night.
No, and the roof is fine. But they've had water damage before and replaced part of that wall. Maybe that's water leaking in from some other time.
Or maybe the cracks in time use the medium of water.
A lot of things do seem to revolve with water, but not everything.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that sounds like we can probably go to the roll there. I think we've covered most of the unusual phenomena that have been going on. So yeah, if you would like to make a roll. So yeah, it's just 2d6 as normal, but you can roll that with a +2 from your for your theorize.
Here's the theory. And it's a 10.
A 10. Perfect. So your theorize roll is correct, and I will present you with an opportunity to save the day. Roland, this is where you will, as Clarence is talking about this whole time travel thing, your memory will go back to that watch that was found. And as I said at the time, it looked like a fairly modern watch. It certainly looked newer than it would have been left behind here by the previous occupants, but it was clearly in that box of stuff. It's a long shot, but that you just get that nagging feeling that maybe that watch has something to do with what's been going on, or is certainly linked in some way.
Tell me about this watch, Roland.
It was a nicer looking model as far as watches go. It was gold and looked, newer than antique. I'd certainly never seen it before, but it would be something I'd wear.
The modern wristwatch?
Yeah.
Did it look like any of these? I pull up some watches.
Kind of scroll through, and I think it's like this one. Point to a fairly standard kind of Rolex-ish thing.
Yeah. Okay. This model was created was first made in the 1950s. First made in the 1980s. That's too new for the stuff in that box.
It was rather well tended for.
No, I mean it's all the stuff that we have from the previous owners was back in the 60s and 70s when they had this place. And remember, this place was in disrepair was pretty much vacant for 10 years before we bought it.
Oh, I remember. That's.
How did they get a watch that hadn't been made yet? And the answer is that it appeared in room 3.
Maybe we should ask Mr. Sandeep.
I don't think we can ask Mr. Sandeep. But this is just a guess, Raleigh, but if they took something out of that room that was an anachronism, literally, that shouldn't have existed, and they took it out, that may have left a hole.
I hope no one's put that on our Yelp review.
No, I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Everything else that's vanished from that, we don't know what's happened to it. But we've never had anything appear from the future. Just from the past. Things that could have existed.
So if we put that watch back,
But if
you
they had
think it
something
will-
appear from the future, that might be the only time that something like that has happened. So if we put the watch back, maybe it'll disappear.
Well, I have no better suggestion.
We need to
Yeah.
get that watch back from the sheriff.
I suppose we could always say I forgot that it actually belonged to you.
Well, it does belong to us if he's got, I mean, if he can't link it to a crime. It is ours. I mean, we bought the place and it was in the place when we bought it.
That's true.
It's because nobody had opened one of those boxes for a decade or two.
I'll call him up. He's a reasonable sort, I think.
Yeah, ask for the watch back.
Yeah, and the sheriff will, when you get through to him, will say, yeah, that you know, once he checked it against the records that he'd found, that of the one that he was actually looking for, the one that was missing, the missing one had like an engraving on it that is not present on this one. It's not the same model either, but not quite the same model. Similar, but not the same. And he will provide it to you. So I'm going to kind of give the sort of the wrap up to the mystery, as I think you return the watch, you bring it back, put it on the bedside table, and there is just a very like that shimmery haze in the room, and for just a moment you will see Sandeep pick up the watch from the bedside table, close it around his wrist, fasten it, and as he does, the sort of haze shifts again. He is gone, the watch is gone, and you will see appearing in the room, again looking very confused and disoriented, though not doesn't have quite the same signs of wear. John Thompson will just kind of walk out of the bathroom, and another couple of people who you recognize as people that have stayed in the bed and breakfast recently will also all appear confused, disoriented, but otherwise not the worse for wear. Yeah.
I think we'll just write off the revenues from room 3 for this past weekend. If it's all right with you, Raleigh, I say, looking around at all the people in the room, I think sorting out who's responsible for the bill might be tricky.
And I think you mean room 4.
Yes.
And let's get these people some lunch and call the sheriff back.
Good idea. I'll be in the kitchen. If everyone will make themselves presentable, we'll be having a little lunch in the dining area.
Or just go to the dining area.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I think that's where we'll leave things for this evening. That was really good fun. So thank you all. I'm going to stop our recording now.